Good.
Alright, so you're on an on-call, you got a pinhole leak. We've located it. I'm going to turn it on so you guys can see what a pinhole leak looks like and where it's located at. So if you want to show them. You see it?
Yep. Alright.
Alright, so where that pinhole leak is located at is right on a manifold that feeds the rest of the cold water supply in the apartment. And you're going to have a little ring on it, which I'll show you. So you're going to have a little ring like this on it that's connecting that pipe onto a barb fitting. So what we have to do is we have to cut that ring off. And I'm going to do that now. Now you want to give yourself, we cut two entrances. You want to try and give yourself some room and figure out the best way to do it. You can use a pair of side cuts that, they're electric wire cutters. And you can snip the ring off, or you can use a small little hacksaw like this and just cut the top of it. And I'll show you what to do after that. You don't want to go real crazy on this because you mess those barbs up, that entire manifold is therefore shot. It could have 6 to 8 pipes hooked to it. You should hear a little crack once you get through it. But like I said, just take your time. And once you get through it, what you'll do is you'll get a flathead screwdriver. And you'll try and go into your cut and pry it apart. I got the left side pried apart. I'm going to go on the other side and try and pry the other side apart. Alright, so I got it moved back onto the pipe. what you can do is try and get a pair of pliers or something on it to grab a hold of it. And pull it off that barb fitting where it's free. If you got tight quarters, you don't have to get that piece off. Because the last thing you want to do is try and pry and mess with these pipes too much, because you're going to create another leak. So if you can just get it back and out of your way, just leave it at that. Alright, so now the next step is we got to cut the pipe off of that barb. That barb is going to be out. It's going to be out about, the older style ones are going to be out a little bit further than the new style. So what you don't want to do is, with the pipe on it, you don't want to cut so close to it that you cut into this barb. So you want to make sure you cut out far enough to where you're not going to damage it. And you want to try and make a straight cut and make one cut. Because if you just go in there and cut it, and you cut it at an angle, you're going to have to fix that and make it straight. I don't know in this situation if I'm going to be able to get a straight cut. I may have to cut it, pull it back, and then cut a straight cut on it. I really don't think I'm going to have an opportunity. So it's not preferred to make a drywall cut this close to a corner, because it's just going to be harder to repair this. You want to, whenever you're cutting something open, you want to leave some drywall meat on there. But in this situation, I have no choice. I got to go back further so I can get closer to it. When you cut this, you're going to get water. So there's nothing you can do about it. It's already leaking. And when cutting on old pipes, you want to try and teeter this back and forth. Because if you just smash down onto it, you're going to smash the pipe and make it harder on yourself. Luckily, we got a sink right here that we can utilize. Alright, so now you got this off, you got a decent cut on that. Just going to set that back. Now we got to get this piece off the pipe. So how we're going to do that is we're just going to cut the plastic and bend it back just like we did the ring. You're not going to pull it off with a pair of pliers. Again, you don't want to cut in so far that you damage that barb. After you get a decent cut on it, you can put pliers on it and try and rip it. Just going to try and spin this. So cut on it some more. Go. There it goes. There it goes. Once you get it loose enough, you should be able to pull it off. So now you got this exposed. Make sure you don't have a bunch of drywall dust and stuff on it. Alright, so luckily we should have enough play in that pipe that we can just reattach. So this is called a chinch clamp, and this is the tool that you use for it. The way this tool works is it goes on here, and then when you start cranking on it, it won't open back up until you get it clamped all the way. That's how you know it's clamped 100%, and then it'll open back up. This tool's a little easier to get into tight spaces. You'll want to try and see like where you're at, because you can't really go on at an angle. You got to be on like this. So right here I'm at a really bad angle. I'm going to try on the other side. So we're going to have to move on to the other side. You can come with. So even here I don't have a very good angle, but I have play in this pipe, but not in this pipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to cut a bigger hole here so that I can get these in kind of down at an angle. But I need to get in straight, so this is going to be our best option. If you can take other pipes out of the way, do so. It'll make your life easier. Just make sure you put them back. You gotta remember, you got all these pipes back here. So when you're cutting, try and only keep that much of the blade going in. Or else when you turn the water back on, you're gonna have another leak. Alright, now we got that opened up. You can see I can push that pipe, and I should be able to push it enough to get that onto there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run to the other side, put the cinch clamp on the pipe first, then put the pipe on the barb, and I'll be back over. Question is, do I have enough bend in this? Alright, so if you want to come over here. So the reason this leaked is because of the bend on that pipe. So on an on-call, you know, you're trying to get in, trying to get out. But if I force this on there and create another steep bend, it's just going to leak again. Maybe not in a year, maybe in 2 years, but it could leak in a week. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 90 in. And in order to do that, you'll need this transition PEX fitting. So this allows you to transition from the gray poly to the PEX. Unfortunately, I don't have 90s that are transition 90s. So we'll improvise. We're going to use both. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this up some more, because I got more pipe if I go straight down than what I need. Plus I got to put that transition coupling in. So I'm going to cut it up here. Remember, I said teeter it. If you teeter it, you're not going to squish it. These pipes are old. If you pinch it like that, it's going to be more difficult for you to get apart. So always cinch clamp first. And then the thicker side goes into the poly. If you have to, use your pliers, but hit it right in the center. Once you get it on, pull the cinch clamp about 1/8 of an inch back. And let me grab my tool. These gloves are pretty worthless at this point. I said, once it releases, you know it's done. One thing you gotta watch about PEX, this old gray poly, is when you put a new clamp on it, it may crack the pipe. So you want to make sure that you watch for that. So now what we're going to do is take a new piece. We don't really need a big piece because we're going down to the 90. So I'm going to cut about an inch. So what you can do is you can kind of pre-work this. If you hold your pipe down, put your 90 on it, you can kind of gauge if you got enough pipe or too much pipe. If it looks good, go ahead and set that about an 1/8 inch off. Crimp it. It's one less crimp you got to do in the wall. Now you can do the same with the other pipe as well. I will say that if you don't feel comfortable guessing it, the more you do it, the better you'll be at guessing how much pipe you need. If you don't feel comfortable guessing it, then you can do it a piece at a time. So I'm about a 1/2 inch too big. I'm going to come back a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and crimp this. Again, you're just trying to reduce the amount of crimps you do in the wall cavity. Once you get it set, it's not coming apart. So I need one more chinch clamp. You want to make sure you... Make sure you got your chinch clamps that you still have to clamp on the pipe first. You don't want to get this on the barbed fitting and then have to try and pull it off to put this on. So I'm going to put this on first because this is going to go back into the wall, and I've created a space over there that I can crimp this last one. The newer PEX fittings or PEX line typically does not go on these old barb fittings very easy. But we have a solution for that, and that is called a flame. Do you have a lighter on you?
No, I do not have one on me.
Alright, well, we'll be back when we have a lighter.
Okay.
Alright, we're back with a lighter. It's a very sad lighter, but it's a lighter nonetheless. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have something you can help push. So you can put this vice grips on to where they're snug but not squishing the pipe. And that will help you. So you're going to heat the PEX line up just to help make it more malleable so it will stretch a little bit onto the fitting. Now if you're still getting water, it is going to make this more difficult because that water is going to cool that pipe as you're trying to heat it. Small little butane torch would be pretty handy right now, but you make do with what you got. And we're on for a start. So now I'm going to pull back, clamp it back on, and then continue to heat some more. In fact, move that chinch clamp back a little bit. There we go. And now we're on. So now you gotta get the chinch clamp on there. And this is where a lot of people will get stuck. So since we gotta go past that pipe, I would like for this to be on that side, but since I gotta go past this pipe, I'm gonna have to get it on and then flip it. So in order to get it on, you're gonna make these vice grips just big enough so that it catches that chinch clamp but doesn't bite the pipe. You can also use a crescent wrench, works good for that as well. Now you got to spin this without damaging the ring, so you want to be careful with it so you're not clamping it down. So I'm kind of playing with how tight these are. You also tap it. So now we'll go on the other side. See if we can get that PVC pipe out of the way. Pull it down on that. A little bit too far to the edge here. I'll move that ring back a little bit. You want to tell me when I'm on it?
Yeah, let me grab this pipe out of your way here. You're almost there. It's like hovering right above it. It's just not like exactly on top of it.
Yeah, Let me spin the ring a little bit to the top. That hot water here is getting in the way. Try something. I'm going to try something on that pipe to push it.
Pretty much right there. You're like right hovering on top of it.
I got to cut the drywall up a little bit more. That handle's not fitting. Watch your fingers.
Yep. There you go. You're on.
You want to hold that pipe?
Whew. Hooey.
Alright, so now you're on. Since you're on that side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn the water on. So when you turn the water back on after doing something like this, you go as slow as molasses. Poly pipe, you'll create more leaks if you just crank it on and it hammers those pipes. So we're going to turn it on, you're going to watch it, and hopefully we did our job well and we don't have any leaks. So we're just going to let this build up pressure for a while, and then once we get all the air out, we'll turn it fully on and shut the bathtub off. can hear it pressurize. So now we're full pressurized. I can open this up all the way. And we'll shut the kitchen sink down. Okay, you can turn it off. So now that we're pressurized, you want to give it a second and let it set. If you don't see any leaks, run some water again. Sometimes the leak won't present itself unless the water's running. So if you don't see any leaks, which I'm going to get back here and look, then we'll run some more water. Make sure there's no air pockets in this line, because we could have air right here, and that's why it's not leaking. So we'll let that pressurize up. So far everything looks good. I don't see any leaks. You'll check the area where you cut and make sure there's no pinhole leaks either. Everything looks good. I'm going to run the tub a little bit. Look good?
Yeah, it looks good.
Sometimes, like when I ran the tub, you get some black stuff coming out. That is actually from rubber washers. They're just old washers in the system from like the hot water heater gate valve. We had that off when we turned it back on. Sometimes you'll get some black residual in the water lines. So when you're running and flushing it out, you may see some black stuff, but don't be alarmed. It's fine. It's normal. So that's it for this video. What we're going to do is we're going to clean up. And due to the special circumstances, since we're, trying to limit us coming in units, we are going to at least cover this hole so that the resident doesn't have to stare at it. So, all right, thanks.